Hello and thank you for joining us on the news at 7 on NTA International. I'm Lami Ali. Courage Ogeria, he is a sign language interpreter. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Bola Tinubu officially meets newly appointed service chiefs for the first time. Cameroon's top courts declare incumbent Paul Biya, the world's oldest president, as the winner of the election. Optimism grows as U.S. President Donald Trump and China's Xi Jinping set to end their bruising trade war this week. President Bola Tinubu has officially met with the newly appointed service chiefs for the first time. The Commander-in-Chief last Friday appointed the new chiefs to replace the General Christopher Musa-led service chiefs. General Olufemi Oluede, who replaces General Christopher Musa as the new Chief of Defense Staff, led the new service chiefs to the President's office this Monday afternoon. Other service chiefs who met with the President are the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Waidi Shuaibu, Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Sandy Aneke, and Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral I. Abbas, and the Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General E.A. Udiendei, who retains his position. The meeting with the chiefs held as they await confirmation of their new positions. The President had earlier in a statement charged the newly appointed service chiefs to justify the confidence reposed in them to further enhance the professionalism, vigilance and comradeship that define the armed forces of Nigeria. Cameroon's top court has declared incumbent Paul Biya the world's oldest president, winner of the country's latest presidential election, and Malian government forced to close schools due to fuel crisis. Here is Francis Udojo with the details.
Reports in Cameroon say clashes with security forces before the announcement of Paul Biya as winner of the just concluded presidential election left at least 4 protesters dead as opposition supporters rallied to demand credible results. The Constitutional Council said Paul Biya received 53.66% of votes, while former ally turned challenger Issa Chiroma Bakare got 35.19%. With Paul Biya now declared winner by the country's top court, Cameroonian opposition leader Issa Chiroma Bakare, who had earlier declared himself the winner of the 12 October elections, had told the media that he would not accept a stolen vote. Paul Biya, 92-year-old, has led the Central African nation since 1982. Meanwhile, Mali is now forced to close schools and universities nationwide due to a fuel scarcity caused by a blockade on fuel imports which jihadi militants imposed on the capital. Militants from the Al-Qaeda-backed Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam Muslimi group announced a ban on fuel imports from neighboring countries into Mali in early September, squeezing the landlocked country's fragile economy and leaving hundreds of fuel trucks stranded at the border. In Mali's capital, Bamako, endless queues have stretched in front of gas stations, and the fuel scarcity has affected the price of commodities and transportation. For a country that relies on fuel imports for domestic needs, the blockade is seen as a significant setback for Mali's junta. The junta defended its forceful takeover of power in 2020 as a necessary step to end decades of security crisis. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Optimism is growing that Donald Trump and China's Xi Jinping will end their bruising trade war in talks this week as the U.S. President touched down in Tokyo on the latest leg of an Asian tour. Here is Francis Udojo again with the details.
U.S. President Donald Trump touched down in Tokyo on the latest leg of an Asian tour as both leaders are expected to end their trade war. Trump said to close U.S. ally Japan that he was hopeful of a deal when he sees Xi on Thursday this week, while also indicating he was willing to extend his trip in order to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The optimism boosted stock markets, with Japan's Nikkei surpassing 50,000 points for the first time, as dozens of people gathered at Haneda Airport to take photos. The presidential plane, also bearing Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, landed. President Trump boarded a helicopter to take him into the bright lights of the Japanese metropolis in time for an evening audience with the emperor. A great man, Trump said afterwards. On Tuesday, Trump is expected to meet new conservative Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi and make a speech on the U.S. George Washington aircraft carrier docked at the U.S. naval base Yokosuka. Francis Udocho, NTA News.
12 volunteers who served in Liberia under the Nigeria Technical Aid Corps scheme have returned home as a debriefing exercise organized to receive them. Authorities of the agency say information received from them will guide future plans for deployments. Here is Kelvin Iwunwai with the reports.
The 12 volunteers are mailing teachers. They were deployed in 2023 to serve in Liberia as teachers in schools across that country, with the objective of assisting Liberia to bridge the gap in quality manpower and encourage school enrollment. After 2 years of meritorious service, the volunteers have returned home to a pleasing reception where they were commended for their exemplary service to Nigeria and humanity.
Information that we decide to get from them have already been gotten. So it's now up to Nigerian system to strategically cipher all the information that are useful and relevant to relevant sectors of Nigerian sectors of economy, our cultural environment, and our diplomatic engagement with those similar countries.
Quite appreciated, because we always found on our duty posts we did not let down our beloved country.
The concept of teaching in Nigeria here, I taught biology, the concept of teaching is not that different. It's the same thing. It's just that the way teaching flows here in Nigeria is not the same way in Liberia. Like my colleague has said, he said when you get to other countries in Africa, you learn the best how to appreciate your country more.
They subsequently received the certificate of discharge with a call on them to put their experiences and exposure to use in their respective organizations. In Abuja, Kelvin Iwunwai, NTA News.
The chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, has congratulated Muhammad Aminu Sani, an 18-year-old Nigerian, for making aviation history by earning a United States Federal Aviation Administration commercial multi-engine pilot license from Phoenix East Aviation in Daytona Beach, Florida. Dabiri Erewa describes Sani's accomplishments as a shining example of the brilliance, resilience and determination of young Nigerians breaking global boundaries, stating that his achievement is, at such a young age, reflects the limitless potential of Nigerian youths when given the right opportunities, mentorship and support. Sani completed a rigorous training program in less than 12 months, an impressive feat achieved without a single check ride failure, a rarity even among seasoned trainees. Dabiri Erewa praised Sani for his discipline and excellence, stating that his success is a source of national pride and a beacon of hope for millions of young Nigerians striving to make a mark globally. Once again, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, charts a bold new course, achieving a groundbreaking first in aviation education. In a stride towards innovation and leadership on the African continent, the nation has unveiled its first ever transformative milestone, a private aeronautics university. That story is being packaged and it will come in our subsequent bulletin. You're watching the news on NTA International. More stories when we return as we take a break. Do stay. Thank you for staying. The leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has again failed to open his defense in the alleged case of terrorism act preferred against him by the federal government. As they resumed hearing this Monday when he was to open his defense, The defendant says he has gone through the case file and allegedly discovered that there is no charge against him. Judiciary correspondent Austin Anyebe reports.
The defendants had sought adjournment on the 24th October to enable him obtain his case file from his former legal team, which was granted by the court. He had earlier lined up 23 witnesses to be called, but when the case was called on Monday, the defendant said he has gone through the case file and allegedly discovered that there is no charge against him, hence urged the court to discharge him and grant his release from the DSS facility, stressing that there is no need for him to open his defense. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, advised the defendant to consult wisely legal experts who are versed in criminal prosecution, reminding him that he had earlier ruled on his no-case submission, where he said that he has a case to answer. The judge, however, told the defendant that if he has made up his mind not to call any witness, then he should come back on Tuesday next week to address the court and thereafter close his case. The prosecution counsel, Adegboyega Awomolu, senior advocate of Nigeria, had told the court that the defendant saying there is no charge against him should be taken as his defense, and the court should therefore take their final written addresses and give judgment. More so that the defendant had spent 3 days from the 6 days slated for him to open and close his defense. While adjourning the matter to Tuesday, 4th of November for hearing or adoption of address, Justice Omotosho urged the defendant to seek legal advice as criminal procedural law comes with vast experience. He urged the defendant to serve the prosecution within 4 days from this Monday. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Where there is a will, there will always be a way is a popular phrase, and few people embody that truth like the Grand Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal, Kogi State, Justice Abdul Karim Arua. Through sheer will and unrelenting patience, he has climbed heights many only dream of. His latest academic feat, earning a doctorate degree, is not just a personal victory worth celebrating. It is a powerful message to everyone who dares to dream big. Johnson Omajali captures the moments of celebration as friends and admirers gathered in Lokoja to honor this remarkable milestone.
Away from the courtroom where he is revered for his brilliance in dispensing justice, away from lecture halls where he sat humbly as a student among his peers, Justice Abdul Karim Arua, the Grand Qadi, sits in an informal circle of celebration. Here, teachers, colleagues from the bench, academics and family fill the room, not to argue a case, but to honor a man who just conquered yet another academic summit. Despite an already distinguished career laden with years at the corridor of justice and an intimidating workload, today, he proudly holds a PhD in Peace and Conflict Resolution from the Federal University, Lokoja.
He has attained the #1 position, at least in the Sharia Court of Appeal. But promotion is God's own to give.
The Chief Judge of Kogi State, Justice Josiah Majabi, is among those moved by this bold pursuit. He described the achievement as timely and valuable, especially in strengthening justice administration across the state.
You have a lot to do. Principally that when you walk, there is peace. Also, that in the state judiciary today, where there is conflict, you will always be available for peace.
As His Lordship said, and as I will add, because conflict is a permanent feature and core part of human being, human relationships, human interactions, and human existence.
You are a jurist, you take a PhD, you become an academic jurist, and then you train other jurists. And today, we're celebrating.
Goodwill messages poured in from the university, the Eje Ofofu, and representatives of the Council of Ulama, JNI, and Form 1. Indeed, where there is a will, there will always be a way. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Now, the 2025 Accolade Africa Growth Summit and Awards has honored a media practitioner, Ambassador Alistair Shiode, and Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia for their outstanding leadership qualities. The governor, who was also the keynote speaker at the summit held in London, United Kingdom, represented by his deputy Samuel Lodi, reiterated the state government's unwavering commitment to service delivery.
The good people of Benue State across the 23 local governments wish to, in a very special way, appreciate the organizers of this award. This can only spur the governor, myself and our team to work harder to justify this award that you have given to us here tonight.
Designed as a catalyst for strategic collaboration between Africa and the UK, the summit reaffirmed the continent's growing importance in the global economic landscape and celebrated the individuals propelling that transformation. The one-day summit was structured to promote investment, trade and innovation between Africa and the UK. Chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCAM Abike Dabiri Erewa has congratulated Muhammad Aminu Sani, an 18-year-old Nigerian, for making aviation history by earning a United States Federal Aviation Administration commercial multi-engine pilot license from Phoenix East Aviation in Daytona Beach, Florida. Dabiri Erewa described Sani's accomplishments as a shining example of the brilliance, resilience and determination of young Nigerians breaking global boundaries, stating that his achievement at such a young age reflects the limitless potential of Nigerian youths when given the right opportunities, mentorship and support. A statement by the Director of Media and Public Relations, NIDCAM, Abdurrahman Balogun, says Sani completed a rigorous training program in less than 12 months, an impressive feat achieved without a single check ride failure, a rarity even among seasoned trainees. Dabiri Erewa praised Sani for his discipline and excellence, stating that his success is a source of national pride and a beacon of hope for millions of young Nigerians striving to make a mark globally. To politics now, former governor of Jigawa State and chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Sule Lamido, is threatening to take legal action against the party if he is not granted access to purchase nomination forms ahead of the forthcoming National Convention scheduled for November 15th and 16th in Ibadan, Oyo State. Timothy Yusuf reports that some principal officers of the party have also claimed to have been locked out of the processes leading to the convention. Here is the report.
Former Governor Sule Lamido this Monday at the National Secretariat of the PDP to obtain valid forms to contest the office of the National Chairman of the PDP at the forthcoming elective National Convention of the party.
It's always the office of the National Secretary.
His attempts to obtain the PDP nomination form, however, proved unsuccessful.
Traditionally, forms are normally sold there. That's why I came here. So if they're sold, somewhere else, then I'll find why they've been sold, because they say they are now under the chairmanship of the Commission Committee. So Fintiri now holding the form, so I have to go to Adama and buy the form.
Both the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, and the National Organizing Secretary, Umar Bature, also reacted to the matter.
So I've never seen this kind of arrangement before. We are even National Secretary of the party. I don't see the color. I don't know if the form is red or white or black.
In another twist, representatives of Kabiru Tanimu Turaki, who emerged as a consensus candidate for the North after an exhaustive meeting, believe that former Governor Sule Lamido acted out of the stipulated period for purchase of nomination and expression of interest forms.
What we are awaiting now is for the party to invite Kabiru Tanimu Turaki for screening. So if Sule Lamido went to the Wadata looking for forms, he went on the wrong date, because the party has stipulated which day you are supposed to go and buy form and which day you are supposed to submit form.
Meanwhile, the National Convention Organizing Committee of the PDP has put on hold the screening of aspirants for the 2025 elective National Convention, earlier scheduled for this Tuesday, October 28, 2025. chairman of the party's National Convention Organizing Committee and governor of Adamawa State, Amodu Fintiri, in a statement says a new date will be communicated once fixed. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The federal government is assuring Nigerians in diaspora of more robust and coordinated engagements that will ensure easier and faster access to support and consular services from Nigerian missions abroad. This was at the Nigerian Stakeholders Engagement on Diaspora Governance convened by the House of Representatives Committee on Diaspora. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen reports.
Diaspora remittances to Nigeria in 2024 are said to be in excess of $20 billion, constituting a crucial source of foreign exchange for the country. Little wonder the federal government is working hard to eliminate bottlenecks that frustrate Nigerians abroad by establishing clear channels for collaboration and communication. This time around, government is leveraging on technology by unveiling the Needrest mobile app designed to solve communication challenges.
We know that most people have a lot of inquiries, they have a lot of reports, suggestions, ideas they want to make, but the channel has been a major problem.
With this app being put together by the House, which they'll give us to run, it will be easier to deal with issues. You know, every state now has a diaspora focal person. Some states now have at the local government level. So maybe an issue is going to a local government level, we'll take it there directly.
This is going to make it possible and easier for them to have some confidence, you know, that they can actually sit in the comfort of their homes out there, and then once there's an opportunity for investment, they can verify from the app to ensure that it's a right and proper and not a dubious, call.
The House of Representatives says it is keen about strengthening institutions that provide efficient services to Nigerians in diaspora. Hence, it is in sync with the executive arm of government to advance initiatives that enhance the welfare of Nigerians abroad. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
In a world filled with issues of gender inequality and the need for youth empowerment, the Center for Gender Security Studies is to train students and youths on gender security and other related activities. The students expressed their enthusiasm for the program, with many highlighting their expectations of gaining practical skills in combating gender insecurity.
It's going to give me opportunity to work effectively in my involvement as a frontline respondent in combating of human trafficking and violence against persons, and most importantly, the issue of gender, which is a central issue as far as human trafficking and violence against persons concerns.
It has been an eye-opening journey because I've actually been interested in gender, both the male and female gender, and having to understand and have a deeper insight about it, talk about issues that concern us, how it affects development, how it affects every aspect of life. So it has been an interesting one for me.
The induction program is designed to equip students with the knowledge and skills necessary to address present societal challenges, such as gender-based violence, youth development strategies, and conflict resolution. The President has joined Chief Duke's family, friends, and well-wishers to celebrate a patriot whose life is defined by a commitment to public service, community development, and promoting the best of Nigeria. President Tinubu acknowledges Chief Duke's service to the nation, particularly his years at NNPC and his impactful tenure as Minister of Culture, Tourism and National Orientation, as well as his role as Supervising Minister of Information. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. The President commends the former Minister's dedication to promoting Nigeria's rich cultural heritage and boosting the tourism sector, as well as his pioneering efforts in the establishment of the centenary city in Abuja. And that does it on the news at this time on NTA International. I'm Lami Ali Korejogiria. He has been the sign language interpreter.